If a single glance could tell 1,000 stories, Donald Sutherland's would be a library. For more than 6 decades, Donald Sutherland has been the kind of actor who disappears into his roles, whether it's a charming rogue, a sinister villain, a tragic father, or a reluctant hero. From his early days in Canadian television to commanding the screen in Hollywood epics, Sutherland's career is nothing short of extraordinary. But beyond the accolades, there's a man who walked a fascinating path, shaped by war-era Canada, sharpened by the stages of Britain, immortalized in films that have become cultural landmarks, and still, even in his later years, refusing to slow down. Today, we journey deep into the life and legacy of Donald Sutherland. Then versus now. Donald McNichol Sutherland was born on July 17, 1935, in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. His father, Frederick McLeay Sutherland, managed sales for a gas, electricity, and bus company, while his mother, Dorothy McNichol, was a mathematics teacher. His childhood wasn't glamorous. It was modest, laced with the chill of Canadian winters and the warmth of a close-knit family. From an early age, Donald stood out, not for his athletic skills or popularity, but for his height, lanky frame, and deep voice. As a boy, he battled multiple health issues, including rheumatic fever, hepatitis, and polio. He spent time bedridden, which only strengthened his love for reading and storytelling. He wasn't dreaming of acting yet. In fact, he thought he'd become an engineer. Donald attended the University of Toronto, majoring in engineering and drama, a strange combination that reflected both his practical side and his artistic curiosity. It was during university theater productions that his towering presence and rich voice caught attention. One day, after delivering a particularly emotional performance, a classmate told him, "You're wasting your time with engineering. You were born to be on stage." That moment sparked something inside him. By the late 1950s, Donald knew his calling wasn't in designing bridges, it was in bringing characters to life. Armed with determination and a degree, Sutherland left Canada for Britain to study at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, LAMDA. It was here that he refined his acting craft, learning stage technique and voice control. The early years were tough. Donald took whatever acting work he could get, stage plays, BBC radio dramas, and tiny television roles. He often played soldiers, clerks, and background characters. But these humble gigs honed his adaptability. 1967 changed everything. Donald was cast as Vernon Pinkley in The Dirty Dozen, a war film starring Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson, and Ernest Borgnine. His quirky, memorable performance caught the attention of Hollywood. Suddenly, the tall Canadian with the deep voice was being noticed, not as a background player, but as a unique character actor with leading man potential. Robert Altman's MASH*, 1970, propelled Sutherland into stardom. Playing the mischievous Hawkeye Pierce alongside Elliot Gould, Sutherland's performance perfectly balanced humor with anti-war commentary. The film was a box office hit, and suddenly Donald was part of the new Hollywood wave, working alongside rising stars and maverick directors. The 1970s became Sutherland's era. Memorable performances included Klute, 1971, with Jane Fonda, blending mystery and romance. Don't Look Now, 1973, a psychological thriller considered a masterpiece of the genre. 1976, with Bernardo Bertolucci. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978, where his final scene became an iconic horror moment. By the end of the decade, Donald Sutherland was not just an actor, he was a brand for intelligent, layered performances. In the 1980s, Sutherland moved effortlessly between genres. From Ordinary People, 1980, which earned critical acclaim and an Oscar for Best Picture, to comedies like Start the Revolution Without Me, he showed range that few could match. Off-screen, he was married 3 times and had 5 children, one of them being Kiefer Sutherland, who would go on to become a major star in his own right. Donald's influence on his son's career was undeniable. The 1990s saw Sutherland appear in thrillers, Backdraft, historical dramas, JFK, and even romantic films, 6 Degrees of Separation. He also took on more TV roles, bringing gravitas to miniseries and guest appearances. By the 2000s, a whole new generation knew him as President Snow in the Hunger Games franchise, a role that made him both feared and admired on screen. Even in his 80s, Donald Sutherland continued working, taking roles in television, trust, indie films, and voice work. In 2017, he received an honorary Academy Award for his lifetime achievements, finally giving him Oscar recognition. Today, he remains active, with his unmistakable voice and presence still in demand. At 89, Donald Sutherland has slowed his pace but remains passionate about storytelling. He lives a quieter life with his wife Francine Rossett, occasionally giving interviews that reflect wisdom, wit, and a love for the craft. He has become a living bridge between the golden days of Hollywood and the modern film era. Donald Sutherland's career is proof that greatness is not just about fame. It's about consistency, reinvention, and authenticity. His ability to remain relevant across decades and appeal to audiences young and old is a rare achievement in the film world. From The Dirty Dozen to The Hunger Games, he's left an indelible mark, a reminder that true actors don't just play parts, they live them.